Welcome to day 1487 of What's She Up To Now. Not playing with a full deck or heart wall or shields of protection. We talked about for our annual challenge to BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us. We talked about emotions and trapped emotions, and sometimes we form things like walls around our heart. 99% plus of the population, according to Dr. Bradley Nelson, who published the Emotion Code in 2011, talks about heart walls and how we form walls around our heart made out of different materials. No two heart walls are the same, yada, yada, yada. I discovered the topic following my sudden cardiac arrest. I had a broken heart syndrome, it's called. And so I was looking for what causes this, what could have created this, and how could this have happened to me? And one of the answers I found was from Darius Barazanti's Summit. He did teleseminars, or he did not telesummits. He just did telephone calls that he recorded. What were those called? I don't remember what we used to call them, but back in the day when we didn't have video or access to video like we do now. And so he would do a phone call interview and record that and share that online, because you could share that online relatively easily back in 2011. Now we can do video, but back then there was only audio available. And the technology and easy sharing, etc. So I had discovered on one of his calls, one of the people he was interviewing was Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he had just written the book. It came out in 2011, which was right after my sudden cardiac arrest, when I was studying and looking for answers. And I found that I really resonated with me, the idea of we trap emotions in our bodies, different places in our bodies, and they stay there. We think on a subconscious level that we let go of stuff, or on a conscious level that we let go of things, but we actually don't. We hang on to them. Sometimes we hang on to them for our entire life. Sometimes we hang on to them beyond our entire life by impacting future generations and our children, as well as we get some things, we inherit some things, just like we inherit our eye color and our hairs, the shape of our face, the shape of our body, our height, our weight, everything from our ancestors. We can inherit emotions and feelings, that things that are trapped. Now, they don't mean to have us inherit them. They don't have any control over that, right? So sometimes things come to us that aren't even ours. They happen to our ancestors. And he has a whole process and it's very easy. It's a super simple process. You can do it on yourself, or he's got 500 practitioners now that do it, and you can do it remotely. You can find somebody around the world that can do it over the phone or through the internet nowadays with Zoom calls and things. So it's super easy. If you're curious about that, I say just Google it and find Dr. Bradley Nelson heart wall. You can just Google heart wall, and you'll find the list of emotions and how to release trapped emotions, etc. The main thing is learn how to do muscle testing on yourself. There's lots of different ways to do muscle testing. You can do which way you lean. You can do your arm up or down, strong or weak. That's easier if someone else is doing it with you. But if you're doing it by yourself, my favorite muscle testing technique is the O's, the interlocking O's. If you ask a question and it's a yes, then it's strong and it's hard to break the O's. If I ask a question and say, my name is Bob, it's easy to break it, because my name's not Bob, my name is Sharon. So my name is Sharon. It's hard to break. My name is Sharon. Yeah, it is my name, so it's not going to break. My name is Bob. It breaks super easily, because the answer is no, that's not true for me. And it's always what's true for you, not anybody else. Let's see if I can think of something that's true for me that might not be for other people. I will not tolerate infidelity. That's true for me. Some people might say, I'll tolerate infidelity, and it'll just pop right off. Well, see, I got no and yes, depending on how I ask the question. Some people will tolerate it. It's not a problem for them, because it means something different to them than it does to me. So it's what is important to you, not what's important to anyone else. It's what does your subconscious, your feelings, it's all about you. Everything's all about us. I know that sounds really egotistical and selfish, but it's not. It's human to know that everything that we see and experience and feel is about our life experience here on the planet and how things make us feel. And our job, everybody's job, is to feel good, right? Our job is to feel good as we go through our life. So that's just my belief. You don't have to believe it if you don't want. So we talked about heart walls and shields of protection, and how we protect ourselves, and what we do with emotions that we don't really deal with. We just kind of stuff them down and don't deal with them. So that was a topic of our annual challenge today. We're focusing on emotional well-being this segment. Next segment will be mental well-being, so that'll be a good one. Because our physical, our mental, and emotional are so interconnected in who we are as beings. It's hard to separate them. Our idiom for supersize your business today was not dealing or not playing with a full deck. This is one of those idioms that I found it really interesting, and why I liked it and was attracted to doing this idiom today is because if you go on the internet and you Google it, one of the first things, and most of the responses you get are that George Dennis Patrick Carlin, the comedian, the stand-up comedian in 1965, used it to mean that somebody didn't have all their faculties. They were crazy or they weren't mentally fit. And from then on, that has been the main meaning and the main driver between not playing with a full deck. But it's really been around since the 1500s when there was a tax on decks of cards. Don't know why, but somebody decided they would tax decks of cards, I guess any entertainment. So people, instead of selling decks of cards with 52 cards, sold decks of cards with 51 cards to get around the tax. And that then meant that you were playing a game using a deck of cards that only had 51 cards instead of 52. So sometimes it meant then that you weren't being completely honest in a contest or in a discussion, meaning you were holding something back, withholding something, or you were playing with a short deck, right? A deck that was one card short. And how would that impact the game? I don't know what card they left out of the deck. Doesn't matter in the 1500s. But I personally like that meaning better with respect to our businesses than I like judging people as not being as good as or as smart as or as qualified or as anything, or underestimating people. I think that so often people are underestimated in their lives and in the world, especially in the world of business, that meaning to me is a little bit offensive. Maybe because women in business get underestimated a lot. So we talked about that, and do people have experience with that particular idiom or expression? I thought that the deck of cards I picked was quite humorous. It's a deck of cards of Go Fish for my daughter, or not my daughter, my granddaughter. And there's a whale, there's whales, there's clams, there's crabs, there are fish, really pretty fish, seagulls, beavers, hammerhead shark, bears with fish in their mouth, turtles, frogs, and dragonflies. I thought it was interesting in that you could probably categorize people in these same categories if you were so inclined. Now, I personally don't love personality tests and things like that, especially when they're used to pigeonhole people. Now, we can use them as a learning tool to learn more about ourselves and how we interact with other people. But I think when they're used, they're definitely misused in the corporate world. Like I guess last year during COVID, I watched a documentary on the DISC test and where that came from, and was a little bit horrified at some of the negative ramifications. But it's true of everything else. There's positives and negatives to everything. There's positives and negatives to the internet. I'm a little more frustrated with the algorithms that are filtering information on the internet than I am the internet as a whole and as a tool for us. So that's it. That's all I've got today. I am catching up. The kids are going snowboarding, so I'm hanging with my granddaughter for the next 4 days to celebrate their 6th anniversary. They're married 6 years already. So baby and I are hanging out. She's 1 year old. She's barely a baby anymore. She's a toddler. She's toddling all around. I'm going to be hanging with her, but I still have work to do. So if I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow just to let you know what's going on. It's a transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world, and back and forth and back and forth. Have an absolutely awesome day.